My name is Joel Sills, and I am the NASA Engineering Safety Center. You'll hear me refer to us as the NESC, Chief Engineer here at Johnson Space Center. And I'm responsible for interfacing with all the programs that are here at Johnson Space Flight Center, which is mainly all the human spaceflight. And I'm one of 10 engineers within the NESCs at the respective centers. And this is my origin story. I grew up as a military dependent. My father was in the Air Force for 27 years, so I followed him all over the world. He was command pilot in the Air Force, flying primarily cargo transports. But I grew up around aircraft, watching aircraft. I had a propensity for wanting to build things as a young person and also taking them apart, much to the dismay of my parents. But as I grew older and went through school, I found that science and math and physics were something that I had a strong background in it. But I never knew that I wanted to be an engineer. I always had this propensity to go towards oceanography, marine biology. It wasn't until late in high school where I started to have to think about what am I going to do for a career, and where would that take me, and what would I be happy doing. That's when I started turning an eye to engineering and saying, okay, where would I go? And so that started my journey into engineering. I think the turning point for me was right as I was graduating and saying, I've always liked aerospace. I really want to go apply myself in that area. I think that was when the light bulb started to turn on for me to say, let's become an aerospace engineer. And that's what I went and pursued. When I graduated, I didn't really know where I wanted to be. I thought I wanted to be a propulsion engineer. So in my undergraduate studying aerospace engineering, I studied a lot of propulsion. And when I graduated, the industry was in a sort of a downturn in terms of hiring and things of that nature. So long story short, I ended up getting hired by Lockheed out in the West Coast and went to work as a structural dynamicist. And I really didn't understand what the job entailed. I had a course in structural dynamics, but I didn't really understand it. And when the folks hiring me said, well, we're going to teach you all sorts of new things. We're going to open doors for you, and it'll be up to you to walk through them. And so that began to inspire me and as, okay, here's an opportunity. Here's something that's totally different out of my comfort zone. Let's go and see what happens. And then here we are 30-something years later. I'm a chief engineer working for NASA, having an effect on different programs, being able to interface with people all over the world, all over the country, young, old. It's a great experience. When you're young, you don't know what you don't know. So becoming humbled is sometimes difficult for young people. But I tell you what, if you can master learning from others and being humbled, that will help you as you go through this journey. You'll have things that are set in place by the programs, by your bosses that you may or may not agree with, but look for commonality. Look for where you can find peace and move forward. And that's really what I've had to learn to do. I've had several jobs. I've worked on many programs, the Hubble Space Telescope, the Space Shuttle program, Space Station, and recently exploration with the Artemis campaign. So there is a community there. There's a family there. And as you grow and become part of that, it becomes helpful in your mindset in dealing with different setbacks and issues. But celebrate the successes, too, as part of that.